Now let's see how manipulating the letter B is going to change our graph. So when we look at a normal cosine graph, it starts high, middle, low, middle, high to go from one high to the next high. In other words, through one full period worth of stuff, it takes an x distance of 2 pi. So we would say one period of cosine is 2 pi. Now, c is the number that's going to be multiplied on the front of x. Right now, let's look at our cosine graph. From high to high, one period takes 2 pi. Let's put the number 2 in front of this x and see what happens. So now we can see from the high point to the next high point takes less distance. Our period is now not 2 pi, but it is now pi. I don't know about you, but I think about when multiplying something, I think about things getting bigger. But remember, insides are backwards and stupid. So when we multiply on the inside, it doesn't get bigger, it gets smaller. It went smaller. Now, let's take this and go from a normal graph where the number in front of x is a 1, and let's make it a 4. Now, instead of our high to the next high taking a 2 pi distance, it takes a half of a pi. So instead of 2 pi, we go to half of a pi. Okay, let's see if we can do one more of these. Instead of multiplying by 2, let's divide by 2. Well, remember, dividing by 2 is a lot like multiplying by 1/2, right? It's like multiplying by the reciprocal. So let's put a 1/2 in the front. Now, when I think divide, I think, oh, that's going to make things smaller. But remember, insides are backwards and stupid. Our first high here is at 0, and it takes all the way until 4 pi to get to our next high. Okay, so what do we see? C is changing. The number C is changing the period. And how is it changing the period? Well, it's changing it. Maybe you've caught on to the pattern by now. But if you take what our period was before, 2 pi, and divide it by that number B sitting here in the front, that is going to give you the new period of the function. So we can think of it as a division, 2 pi over B, or we can think of it as 2 pi over b like a fraction. Either way, it'll get you the period of the function.